Meet Angela Imhof from the Netherlands, a woman who will be forever 27, but her passport says something else. She decided to finally listen to the calling of her heart, to move abroad and try out a different kind of life than the one she was brought up to believe was possible for her. She faced uncertainty, fear, and countless obstacles, and she's still in search of her heart's true calling, but more in tune with the whispers of her purpose and calling. Today, we're going to find out more about how she overcame her fears and embraced the unknown to create something truly extraordinary. The topic is relevant to me too, since my last life change is very similar to Angela's. But this episode is not about me. Welcome, everyone, to the second episode of Resilient Voices. Do we have an inspiring guest today? And she's sitting here just in front of me. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you. And you're going to share some of your story about being resilient and how you've overcome some obstacles or overcome some fear in your life. So if you want to start, I'm just going to jump right in here and just with your backstory, what happened and what was sort of the moment for you?
Yeah. I will begin with the spoiler alert. I moved to Ericeira, so that's also why I'm here and where I met you. But yeah, what made me do that, I think there's, that's quite a backstory. It's quite like a lot of things that happened in my life that made me, make this choice. And I think it started with always feeling that there was something more in life, something more to life, and not kind of put the finger on what was it, but there was always like the feeling of something missing. And I think always like a little bit unhappy in work, unhappy in like life in general. Not that I wasn't happy, but always like feeling there's more in life. There's more to life. I don't feel like this is it. And also always feeling a little bit different than everybody else. So always feeling like everybody's dreams and having a house, having a car, having kids, having like a fence around it, and then be happy. That wasn't the lifestyle for me, but it was the lifestyle that everybody around me, wanted, and also was kind of like, thinking I should want that too. So it always felt a little bit weird. And then, of course, the pandemic happened and the world changed for everybody. And I think for a lot of people, it was also the moment that a lot changed, like for their values, like in general, like what do I want in life? Is this the life I want to live? And also like not being able to do a lot of stuff anymore. Like, oh my God, what does freedom mean to me? And like, is this the life I want to live? Yeah. So that for me was really a moment of reflection and turning inwards and being like, okay, but like something needs to happen because this is really not feeling comfortable for me. And of course it happened, like it took a while, the whole pandemic. And then at the end of the pandemic, a friend of mine died. So that was really one of the big wake-up calls for me. Like, okay, if you can die like mid-30s and just not be there anymore, like what do you want people to remember about you? But also, what are you leaving behind, and what did you do with your life? Like, what are your what ifs? Like, do you have a lot of things you didn't accomplish? Because she, for instance, had some things, of course, she didn't accomplish. And I was like, oh my God, it so changed my outtake on life, actually. So I was like, okay, whenever I can, I'm ready to travel the world, because I wasn't one of the lucky ones who was trapped somewhere. I was trapped at home. And then I started going to co-livings, and I was in Ibiza. I fell in love actually with Ibiza, and I had something like, oh my God, this is what it is to live a free life and to be abroad and to be with like-minded people. I want this. And then I was thinking about moving there, but my mind was saying, well, one more adventure before we do it. Let's go on one more adventure. And that adventure turned out to be surfing lessons in a place called Ericeira near Lisbon. And I never been to Portugal. But the minute I stepped foot in this cute little town, I was in love, and not with a man, but just with the town and with the environment, with the vibe, with just everything. So my heart really said, like, you need to be here. And that was like, I always wanted to move abroad. And this was really the calling, like not being a whisper anymore. It was like, wow, you need to move here. So yeah, that was the point where I decided to change my life and make it happen. And it took me a lot to do it. But I made it. I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. But tell me, was it before the pandemic? Was it already then like you had that whisper, the feeling?
Yeah.
So it was just the pandemic that
really gave a push on like, okay, how do you want to live your life, right? If this is what can happen, like, are you happy with your life now? Are you happy with how things are going? And I was like, no. And it also made me realize, like, you can work from everywhere. Yeah. So why do you need to sit in an office every day? And why do you need to have that busy, full packed life if you can also just have the life, just be flexible and do the things you love and have way more balance in your life? And the balance gives you so much more so much more peace and relaxation. So that was really for me an eye-opener. Yeah.
Did you also experience that because it's in The Hague you lived, that it's a bit trendy, it's a good thing to have a full calendar and be super busy?
Well, it's sort of required of you, right? Because if I didn't have a full calendar, it was like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Because everybody already, if you want to plan something, I think it's in the Netherlands it's that way, but I think in a lot of European countries it's that way, that if you want to plan something with someone, it's not flexible at all. So you can't be spontaneous. You already have to be like, oh, in 2 weeks on Saturday night, we will go out for drinks or wines, and you already have to reserve everything. And I don't work that way. I figured out, like, I work better to just be spontaneous and just go with more with what do I want, like tune in with yourself instead of being like lived by your calendar. Just really live and be in the moment. And that for me, that was really a life-changing thing.
Wow. And then with so sorry to hear about your friend, but that was also when you actually made you acted on what been calling for you for a long time, the yearning that was inside of you. Yeah,
because it was like, it's now or never kind of moment. And I think it's usually for people that you have to experience something really bad to appreciate life, like, and also ask yourself, like, am I living now? Like, am I living or am I just existing? And I was like, I'm just existing like everybody else. And is this what I want? Like, you have one life, maybe you reincarnate if you believe in that, but still, this is your life and you're here with a reason. And maybe the reason is just enjoy it, right? Yeah. But I wasn't doing that. So I was like, well, what would life be like if I am going to enjoy it and if I am going to live instead of just be?
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
I think so too.
Yeah. It sounds really great. But tell me, so what fears and obstacles did you face? Because you did make that decision and to actually go out, and you went to Ibiza first and then you came to Ericeira.
Yes.
But you didn't come to Ericeira to stay immediately. So what happened from that point?
I came here just on a holiday, and I already in Ibiza, I met a lot of people who sold their houses or quit their jobs or quit their relationships, and were just like, fuck it, I'm gonna live and I'm gonna just move abroad and take it from there. And for me, there was a lot of fear around the security and about money, because you need money to live, right? And I was so programmed to like, you have a stable job, you have a contract. I worked for the government, so it was nice, it was comfortable, it was safe, and it was like you earn a lot of money, or not a lot, but like enough, and you have a nice house, and you can do whatever you want, you can go on holiday. So why would you give that up for something you don't know, right? And that was like in the back of my mind constantly. And I was always looking at other people, listening to them, and they were so inspiring. But I was like, oh no, that's not for me. No, I can't do that because, and then all the reasons you can think of, I thought of them, and maybe a few more even. So it was every time I was like getting nudges, like they do it, so why can't you do it? But the why can't you? It never like occurred to me. It was like, oh, they can do it. Wow, I'm so jealous, but in a good way. And then here in Ericeira, I met a girl, actually also a Dutch girl, and she was working here for 3 months. And I was like, okay, nice. And we hung out, and she was also a little bit like on the spiritual path. And I also am really interested in like the astrology and all the other stuff. So we had like a real good connection. And she told me like, why don't you just do it? Like I do it, and for me it works. I quit my job. I worked at a bank and I quit it, and now I work for myself as a freelancer. And if I can do it, you can do it. So she was kind of like, I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I asked like for signs, like, okay, if I have to come back here, and if this is meant to be for me to live abroad, then please give me a sign. And I wanted the green heart, and then I was going to the toilet, and then right in front of me, there was like a really big green heart. And I was like,
really?
Well, maybe a different one, because then the fear came up again, because it's asking to leave everything behind and start over. And also at this age, it's not really easy, because all my friends are like married, and they are buying houses, and they are like really settling and doing the life everybody thinks you should live. And then I was like, whoa, bye. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to quit my apartment, and I'm just going to like see what I want, like what comes up. But I talked about it. I thought about it a lot. But then also I had some really good friends, like close friends, who were all a little bit free spirits and who really supported me. Also, my parents supported me. And I was like, oh my God, because they were like, well, of course, we would rather see you like your brother settled and everything, but we much rather see you happy. So if this is what you need to do, then we support you.
Oh, that's beautiful. So that was support.
That was super, super interesting. But also they were like, well, you do it, because my first plan was like, I do it for a few months, and then maybe I come back to the Netherlands and I'll see. But a few months were half a year, and I was still here, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to leave. But then the fears came, because I didn't want to leave. I had like a really good community already here. I had a nice life here, but I wasn't working. So I was also a little bit, really enjoying life. And then I wanted a remote job, and I needed a place to stay, and I needed like to settle here, and I couldn't make it happen the first time around. So I was really, really devastated, and I had to go back to the Netherlands, and I needed to, be there and earn money there. And it was like really, money is like keeping me away from my dreams. But I still knew, okay, I'm going back. So I went back to the Netherlands, and I thought, I'm always positive, so I thought it's for a month, and then I'll back. But no, because it was for me really a journey to find a remote job. Because in my area, like government, people don't really like the remote work. So they're like, no. So I really had to change my mindset and, really take chances, because I had nothing to fall back on, actually, except my old life. So I tried that again. So I went back to my old job. Well, almost old job, and I worked there again. I went back to The Hague. I lived in Scheveningen for a while, and it was like kind of the life I thought, if I didn't know about Ericeira, this is the life I would I would like. But then after 2 months, I was like completely broke down and cried and was really like, I can't do this anymore. I had to like really scream it out loud. And I was on the phone with my mom, and I got an email, and I was like, fuck this shit. I can't do this. I don't want this. Like, this is not the life I want. And it was really sort of, okay, it's out there. Like, this is not what I want. And when it was out there, then all of a sudden things started to move a little bit more in my favor, because it was like, I need a remote job. And even if it's 8 hours, I don't mind. With 8 hours, I will go. And then I got something for 8 hours and I was like, okay, I said A, so now I have to go. And it was really scary because, again, I gave everything up to move here again, but still, it's so worth it. Yeah. So here I am again. Yeah.
Wow.
And still in the process, because I'm still not where I want to be. But I think once you take one, it's maybe the same as a tattoo, right? If you take one, I thought long and hard about like taking one, but then once you had one, then you know the drill and you just want more because it's easy. And I think it's the same a little bit with doing things that scare you, because you kind of know that if it's really something you want and that's good for you, or it's gonna help you, then it will work out. And even still, I don't trust, but also somewhere deep inside I do trust, because I've done it now multiple times and it gets easier. So the fear doesn't get like, it's still there.
It's still there.
But it's also, you know, that it's worth it. Yeah.
And I think
to do it afraid.
Thank you. I think it's just a beautiful description of what resilience is. It is that you actually you act despite the fact that you're scared, because the fear will be there. It's not like
that's never leaving.
No, it's not leaving, but it's easier. You know, like with the tattoos, I know the feeling as well, that you get the taste for it. You sort of, and you know that, wow, this is good. It's worth it. It's worth the pain. It's worth it because I know I have the resources. Because it's about because also what you're explaining is about being resourceful to find resources and also send it out there in the universe, to the universe. And and I totally believe that. And maybe not all you listeners do.
No,
but,
maybe not.
but universe will answer your calls.
Yeah.
So if you really, really emotionally step into that, what you want, you will find it if you're open to it and receive it.
Because it's also an energy change, right? If you don't believe in universe and you believe in something else, but it is just an energy change that you just trust, and you know, like, it will. I still don't know how, because I'm still in the process now, but it will work out. And it's also kind of getting a little bit more excited about seeing how it will work out, right? Like, okay, what's next? And what challenge is there for me now? So
so you're in the process still of finding out what, you still don't know the reason why you need to say that.
No, I don't. I feel like I need to be here, and I think it's also a place where my story isn't that unique. Like, a lot of people have similar stories. And I think that's also the reason why it's nice for people with this story to be here, because people understand you. So people also understand the darker side of it, because it isn't all, because I'm smiling, but it isn't all positive and nice and everything, because you also have days where you question everything and you're like, why did I do this? And shouldn't I know if I go back, then I will have a job for sure, and then I can rent some nice apartment, and then I can make life work there again. But also it's like, no, I can, because I don't want to go back to that life. I need to be here now. But that entails also me being completely alone here and having to start from scratch and have no support system here, and have to build that support system here. So sometimes you feel like kindergarten again, like, hi, do you want to be my friend? Like, but it is, right? Because you need the social connections, and people here are more open to it, but still you have to put in the work. And also if you want something, you have to make it happen yourself, and it's not always it's not always easy. And it's also, sometimes you also get all the fears, they just come over you like a big wave, and you're just super emotional and like crying all day, for instance. So it's not all fun.
No. And I think thank you for sharing that, because I think that's super important, that it's actually, there will be days where you or weeks maybe where you question your decision and you feel this is uncomfortable, and here I am, what am I doing here, and all this, because I can relate to that completely as well. And this with the support system, okay, you have to build something from scratch, and when you look back at home where you have, you've got your family, friends, and everything, but they live another life, and you got another calling. Which is
true. And I also, because that's the weird thing, that you feel, of course, they will always be there for me, but also it changes, and especially friends, for instance, they go on with their lives, and their lives are usually so different that also the distance really becomes a distance. So you really get out of touch sooner, and that's also, they can't relate to what you're going through. So you need people who understand and can relate also, because of course they can be there, but it's different if they don't know everything. They haven't been through everything. And here people have or are going through the same things, but then it's like finding your people and so it's really, you're feeling a little bit like in between. So sometimes I really feel lost, and I feel the same lost. Well, I feel lost, and I already had that, of course, when I was like, oh, I don't fit in here in this life, but still I haven't really found, like, and that's why I'm still in the process, like, where do I belong, or what is, when am I gonna find myself, right? And maybe that will be my whole life, and maybe I will never have it. But and sometimes that's also, of course, a little bit scary or overwhelming, because then it's like, what am I doing this for, and am I making the right decisions? But it's also maybe being a little less hard on yourself for that, and accepting that, okay, if you want something different, then there is no mold, so you have to create your own, and you don't have an example, so you have to do it yourself, right? It's like what we talked about, you have to save yourself.
Because there's not going to be this prince on the white horse coming there and save you and ride away over the sunset, and you just sort of home free, and everything is organized for you. So no, it's a lot about looking into yourself and trusting yourself and be your own hero, heroine. Maybe we want to.
But you be your own person, right? Yeah.
And I think this is super important, regardless of where you are in what change you've made in your life or not. But actually being that, realize, and when you look yourself in the mirror, like, my God, I am the person. I need to be my best friend, because I wake up with myself. I go to bed with myself. I spend 24 hours a day with myself.
Your whole life. Nobody's going to do that.
No. So I better start to enjoy my own company and love myself. For who I am. If there are some things I don't like, then it's my responsibility to work with them and have the courage then to face them. Yeah,
because that's also the thing. Like, you can move abroad to wherever you want, but you're taking yourself with you. So you're always gonna have to face the things you're not really happy about, or like your darker things maybe. So that's also important, and that's also not nice at all. But it is, I think it makes you a nicer person if you do it, and nicer to yourself.
Absolutely, I think that's super important. You said something about being lost. Don't you think that sometimes you have to be lost in order to find yourself?
Yeah, I do. But that's a nice saying. But like, sometimes it really feels like you're floating in the wild, rough ocean, and you have nowhere to go. But I completely agree. Like, you have to go. You have to be lost to find yourself, because that's the place where the magic can happen, right? Yeah.
Because don't we live in a world of infinite possibilities?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But sometimes it's hard to see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other days it is. And I think it's good to remember that even in the bad days. Like, yeah, everything you want is possible. You just have to work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like everything has been served on a plate, on a platter, but you work for it.
Yeah, and that's also like I believe in fairy tales, so I wish my Prince Charming would come around. But also, I like things easy, but it's not the way the world works. No. And if you really, really want to see changes, then you have to, make them happen. And then it's not always like work hard in a job, but it's like work on yourself and work on having everything sorted out so you can do stuff. And sometimes it's also just jump. That's also work, like jump and see where you will end up, right? But then the work is in confronting the fears and just do it, like just be comfortable with the uncomfortable and just go. And that's also a lot of work. Yeah.
And a lot of trust as well.
Yes. A lot of trust. And that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so tell me, what tools have you used on the way? What do you have any special go-to tools that you use to actually to work with that you work with yourself, but how do you do that? And you talk about support system as well. So what has been important for you, if you want to just share?
I think it started also that I had like a coaching group with other women. And we were, I was always a little bit reluctant to it. Like, I want to do coaching, but like with other women, no, I don't. But that's like also a little bit the thing that we can live in a society where women are putting each other down instead of lifting each other up. So you can have like, not everyone has the most nice experience with women, like supporting them. So I was a little bit like, I don't know if I like that group, but it turned out like they are my sisters now. They are like the most valuable women in my life because they really like everybody sees you without judgment and they support you. So I think I had a lot of support from that. And also, like tools, for instance, like breath work and that kind of energy sessions. It also helps you, release stuff and also, get to places where you feel maybe a little bit uncomfortable and also get more comfortable with that. And I also did some like coaching sessions or more the spiritual coaching kind, like the astrology and that kind of stuff, and just took from it what I needed to hear. So sometimes need the reassurance, but I already have that's what looking back, like I already know what I want, but it's like really deep down. And sometimes you just need reassurance, so you're like, okay, this resonates with me. Yes. So it's like yes, and then it's things resonate and things don't resonate, and what resonates, then you get your vision clearer, or what you want, you get clearer, because you feel like if somebody says something, you're like, no, that's not what I want. And if they say something else, it's like, oh yes, this, and then you're like, oh yes. And I think that helps. For me, that helped also. And I think also just for me, but I look at other people and I'm like, do I want to be like that when I am old or something? Or is this the life I want? And I'm like, no, I don't. So then I know for myself, okay, if this is not what I want, then I need to do something about it. And then maybe you don't have people who can inspire you, but then the universe sends you people who inspire you. So that's and then you just look at them, and then you're like, okay, but what do they do? And what can I take, what resonates also? But for me, it's also just doing it yourself. and ask help where you, or accept help where you get it. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that, and that's one of the I mean, you're here on this podcast, and one of the purposes of this podcast, or the purpose, I guess, is to inspire other women to see what's possible. And I think that if one person have done a change, everyone can do that. It's just a matter of actually taking action and just follow that path and make that decision and start to act on it. So I think that's really, and what you say is that, I mean, I've also been in environments where women, there's sharp elbows, and you sort of, I think it's hard enough to be a woman in today. We have to fight with the hierarchy of masculine. I mean, the men and the structure that we've got in the business world specifically. Yeah. And then you need women that support women. I mean, we need to be each other's support.
Yeah. And you don't need to help each other down, right? You need to lift and be happy for someone. But we already have it hard enough as it is. Yeah. You have to be, and especially when you are not in a position where you left corporate or something, then you already have to survive in a men's world. Yeah. And then, so I think that sisterhood is super important, that what you mentioned, that actually find that support in other women. And and also accept the support, because we're also really used to do things yourself, or not ask for help, or maybe don't accept the help if it's there, because then you're like, oh no, but maybe, and people sometimes just want to help you get a better life, so just accept that. Yeah,
that's beautiful. Thank you. What would you say, how has your life changed?
How didn't it change? It changed a lot, actually. And I think the most because whenever I go back to the Netherlands now for visiting friends or going into an office, and I already feel stress before I go there, because I have to already arrange everything and get back into the rat race or something. And I feel now my life is so much more relaxed and flexible, and even though it's unsure, I enjoy the little things so much more, and you appreciate different things. So you really learn what's important in life for you, and it's not all the status symbols, but more just sitting on the beach watching a beautiful sunset, right? With a nice pizza and with beautiful people, and and that's so simple. Life can be that simple.
And that's, I think I was just going to say that this, with when you find people that likes to enjoy and watching the sunset, that's when you know you found something different in life, isn't it?
Yeah, like the sunset and the sky turning beautiful colors, or just sitting in a beach or hearing the birds, and you're like, okay, I'm getting old, but no, I like this. Yeah, and then you know, okay, these people know life too now.
So then it's been, even though you haven't arrived yet.
No, not even close. There's still a lot of fear, and there's still a lot of obstacles, but we're getting there. Yeah.
So if you want to give some practical advice for other women who wants to make, I mean, it could be a change like you've done, but any big change in their lives, what would you, from when you look back from your experience, and have you managed it?
Yeah, it would be nice that it wouldn't take something really dramatic or big to make changes. So maybe it would be, if I look back, then just you have some themes in life, or maybe some things you really want to do, it's so simple, but just do that, right? Just try and just go. And even if it's not the right, it feels like not the right time, or you don't have the money, or you're like, oh, but maybe I'm gonna. No, not the maybes. Just all the reasons why you're gonna do it. Because for me, it was going to live abroad for a few months, and I already wanted it when I was 21. And now I'm doing it like for a few years. But what took me so long? And that's, I think, for a lot of people, just small steps, but just do it. And if you feel like something is lingering inside you, just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you only regret things you didn't do. It is that simple.
It's that
cheesy. Yeah, and just don't live. Yeah, like I don't want to die with what ifs.
No.
Yeah. And I think nobody wants, right?
No.
Yeah. So
but
make a list of your what ifs and go do them.
Yeah, and don't wait for that prince with the white horse to come and rescue you.
Save yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Despite the fact that you love fairy tales.
Of course. But like the prince can still tag along, right? But he doesn't have to, like you don't have to wait 100 years to be kissed awake, or you don't have to like be saved out of a tower or something. Just open the fucking door and go out and meet him downstairs, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe along the road. Like, yeah. So, yeah. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you, Angela.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just open up, being super vulnerable and honest and authentic, and just sharing your story. And it's ongoing, and you haven't really, but you're on your way, and you've found your path, and you do not know where it's going to lead, but still you're here and sharing that. And I'm so excited for you, and happy to be here and in the same village as you, and see what where the road is going to take you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure.
Yeah, me too. So thank you, and good luck with the rest.
Yes, with the rest of my story.
The rest of your story. So for with some great learnings and takeaways from Angela, and I mean the message really is to just go and go and do it. Just listen to your calling, and eventually, if you hear the whispers, if you wait a bit longer, it's going to scream, and then you go. If you don't go when it whispers, and look for your support system.
Yes.
Is that's basically the takeaway. And yes, not every day will be shimmering with like glitter and
fairy tales also have dragons and witches and trolls, so they also have the darkness.
Yeah. So great. Thank you so much. And I'll just going to say that in the next episode, we're going to listen to another inspiring woman's story. Her name is Megan, and she's made a big shift in her life. She left a toxic relationship, left the US, and she had to face some really, really difficult obstacles before she actually managed to leave the US with her daughter. And now she lives in Portugal since 2 years back. So she's going to be here in the next episode and share her story.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So thank you so much. And until next time, have a fucking great day. I encourage you to subscribe to Resilient Voices and follow along on social media, where we'll be sharing updates, resources, and stories from our growing community of resilient women. And if you ever feel inspired or have a story to share, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. You can also use the hashtag Resilient Voices to connect with other listeners who are on their own journeys of transformation.